Google Docs.
You hit turn in and you're good.
Oh, I have to. Oh,
Here, I can check right now.
I
Actually,
shared it to you through Google Docs.
there should be a turn in button that you can hit on Classroom. If you can't find it, that is a-okay. All I would ask is just like if you can hit that button because it makes things easier for me. Um,
Ionic bonding basics practice.
yes,
Ionic
sir.
compounds crisscross method.
Yes, sir. The there should, at least assuming I know what how Google Classroom works, that should be how it's set up. Like turn in or submit or something should be there when you go into that Google Doc. But if you, like I said, if you can't see it, that's cool. All we're gonna do today
Uh,
is I'm gonna walk through like the first, we'll say, I don't know, 5 practice problems here.
so,
So
so do I have to be here for this
so
class?
yeah, Steven, if you're good, if you like blasted through all these, feel free to go.
I bet.
This is a
Well,
question and answer session. Thank you for showing up.
I bet. I'm gonna
Mhm.
stay
And if
here for
anyone,
minutes. When it starts getting real packed, then I'll dip.
okay, and for anyone else, if you are here and I start going over this and you're like, oh, I've already looked at it and I know how to do the crisscross method or something like that, um, then feel free to go. But before you do, say, hey, Mr. Sobzak, I'm leaving, or send a message in chat that says, I was here, just so I know that you were here. And that's just because I have to make sure that I'm documenting participation every week with administration. Um, so if you're like Steven, yes, Brian, I know you're here. So if you're like Steven and you know what's going on, I still appreciate that he was like, hey, I get it, I know what's going on. I've already done this. And when he wants to dip, that's cool. But I don't want to take up anyone's time too much. I want to end by like 11:20, 11:25 today. Um, so let's review how we can get the formulas for these ionic compounds. And I've got 4 examples up at the top here. This is the document, the ionic bonding basics document that I assigned as homework yesterday. It is due on Monday. And as a reminder, the crisscross method is sort of the easiest way to make your formulas for these ionic compounds. So if any mode, should I be able to? Forget it. All right. So the way that this works, and I know what I can do. I can take this and I can.
I just submitted it.
Cool. Awesome, man. So yeah, if you want to go, feel free.
I bet. Be
Later.
on Mr. Sobzak.
Have a good one. All right. So let's move this over so that I can draw on it. All right, so hopefully you all can see my screen. If you can't, tab over to it. But the way that the crisscross method works, as a reminder, is you have your charges of your ions, which you can look up. I usually give you can't see it, Lorraine. I don't know what to tell you. You might have to like go into tile view and find my screen specifically and click on it. Because I've got it pinned to the, you got it now? Cool, thank you. All right, so you get your charges. You look these up. They're on the chart that I provide for you in pretty much every piece of work that you'll do where you're working on ionic compounds. So if we're looking at potassium and iodine and we want to know what the chemical formula for potassium iodide is, potassium has a +1 charge, iodine has a -1 charge. If we crisscross these charges, we take this +1, we bring it down here, we drop the sign, we take this -1, We bring it down here. We drop the sign. We're left with K1, I1. If you don't write the 1, that's actually preferred because we are chemists and we are lazy. We don't like to write the number 1. Calcium and oxygen is something similar. If you crisscross them, calcium's +2 goes down to the subscript on the oxygen. You drop the sign, you have a 2. This 2 minus comes down to calcium. You drop the sign, and you have Ca2O2. But if you can divide both of those numbers by the same number, in this case, they divide by 2, you end up with CaO instead of Ca2O2. So instead of having 2 and 2, you divide by 2, you're left with 1 and 1. For calcium and oxygen, we crisscross again. Here I've got it actually shown out. 1 comes down here, 2 comes down here. We're left with K2O. Magnesium's 2 goes to chlorine. Chlorine's 1 goes to magnesium. We're left with MgCl2. So with all of that said, I'm not going to go over 1 and 2 because those were my 2 examples from yesterday. I'm going to skip to rubidium and phosphorus. So for each one of these problems, I want you to compute or figure out the formula for the compounds made by combining these 2 ions. So up here, we've got rubidium. Rubidium is +1. And yes, you already know Brian. And at this point, Brian, it seems like you know what's going on. If you want to stick around, I would love that because I appreciate you being here. But this is all we're going to be talking about. If you can do these in half a second. So rubidium's charge is +1. I'm going to make this bigger so that we can see it. 24. How about that? There we go. Rubidium has a +1.
Mr. Sozak,
phosphorus. What's up?
this is where the homework starts at?
No, I did these 2 examples yesterday. These are in the slides that I posted with the homework, and also they are in the video that I posted.
All right.
So I'm not going to like redo them. I figure if you want help with the homework, you've already got help for 1 and 2. You might as well start with number 3.
I bet.
Yeah. So we've got rubidium is +1, phosphorus is -3, 3 minus. If we crisscross that, this 3 is going to, and why don't I make a new step here? That 3 is going to come down to the bottom of the rubidium symbol. So we're going to have Rb3. The +1 from rubidium is going to go down to phosphorus. So we're going to have P, and you don't have to write the 1. And in that case, you're done. So the 1 from rubidium comes down to the phosphorus. The 3 from phosphorus comes down to rubidium. And this is our formula for rubidium phosphide. Calcium and oxygen, that's actually this example up here. So I'm not going to bother with it. I'm going to skip number 4 for now. Number 5 is sodium and phosphorus. And what did I make this? Size 24? Okay. So sodium, check the charge on that. It's right up here. It's +1. It works. 1 plus. Phosphorus is the same phosphorus as
Mr.
before.
Sozak, can you scroll up real quick?
Absolutely.
I bet.
Yeah, I can leave it right there so that we can see everything. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to make this just a little bit wider. There we go. So, same as before. You take the 1 from sodium, you put it down on the bottom of phosphorus. You take the 3 from phosphorus, you put it at the bottom of sodium. So our formula for sodium phosphide is going to be Na3 P1, but you don't have to write the 1. So it's just Na3P or Na3P1.
Gotcha.
I would not complain about either. All right. then let's find a more annoying one.
Saca el licuado.
So let's see what we got right here. Wow, I was fairly nice to you with these. Oh, I was way too nice to you guys with these. Here we go. Strontium nitride.
Saca cereal.
Ya no hay, güey.
4. Strontium.
Se acabó la leche.
Charge of strontium is 2+. Nitrogen's charge is, whoops,
3, I think.
Again, we crisscross it. This 2 starts up here. It's going to end up down at the bottom of nitrogen. This 3 starts up here. It's going to end up at the bottom of strontium. So that 3 is going to go from the top right to the bottom left. That nitrogen, or that 2 is going to go from the top left to the bottom right. And we're left with SR3N2. This is really, really quick. This is really, really, I don't want to say simple because it's learning a new language, but once you have the ability to do this crisscross method, you can write the formula for any ionic compound as long as you know the charge of the ions. And I've given you the charge of the ions here. I have kept myself to 10 minutes, which I thought was not going to happen. So when it comes to actually putting your answers in this homework, I would love it if you could keep your subscripts and superscripts straight, because when you're writing formulas, the number, the subscript down here that shows you how many atoms are in one molecule of, for example, strontium nitride, this should be down here. It should be really low. But I know that a lot of you are on phones. I know that formatting can be super, super annoying when you're on phones. It is okay if you're typing this into the Google Doc, if your formulas look like this, I will know what you mean. But if you are doing this on a separate sheet of paper and then you link, if you add the picture of that paper into here, please make sure that these numbers are small. They're down here because that is our chemistry language for this is how many atoms are in a molecule of this stuff. With that said, I am not going to talk your ear off. I am going to just answer any questions if anyone has them. I'm going to look over at the chat. You get this already. Can you leave? Absolutely, Laura. Sorry, I didn't see your question before. And that goes for everybody. If you get it, go ahead and go. If you can do the homework, that's great. If anyone has any questions, this is your time to ask questions of me. Going once. Going twice.
One already went.
Yeah, no, I see people bouncing. That's good. No, that's
Going
absolutely
twice.
fine.
Mr. Sobczak,
Going 3 times.
we don't have to do that one
Yes, Laura.
worksheet that you send us, like that long ass worksheet.
The one from Monday?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, don't worry about that. I said it like, I think before the lesson hour started yesterday, I told people that I looked at it and I had the exact same reaction, Laura. I said, this is a long ass worksheet
Okay.
and it's asking you to do a lot. So I scaled it back a little bit.
All right, bet.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. We are down to like 4 people left. So with that said, I'm glad you guys can make it. I'm glad this is making sense to a lot of people. Go ahead and give this homework a shot. We do not have a class meeting tomorrow because I will be meeting with people's parents.
Sí, güey, sí, güey, sí.
Sí.
So have a great day, and I will see you all on Friday.
All right.
Later. Stop.